Have you ever had one of those unexpected moments that completely changed the course of your life? You know, the kind they call a defining moment, where suddenly all your priorities, beliefs, and even your sense of who you are get thrown into question? Maybe it was a coincidence, a chance encounter, or even a disaster. Well, it happened to me. You won't believe it, but it's true. And this event didn't just change my life. It profoundly impacted all life in that region, that invisible bond between nature and humankind. But the real story is something else entirely. You definitely don't want to miss this. Across the vast grasslands of Serengeti National Park in Tanzania, the morning sun gently spread over the mist, making the scene even more magical and peaceful. Moving through sparse trees and lush green bushes, I, Tabo, a young wildlife ranger, embarked on my daily patrol with a heart full of passion and a deep love for nature. Since childhood, I had dreamed of dedicating my life to protecting the wild world. And now, Serengeti National Park was the place where that dream had come true. Every morning before setting out, I carefully checked my off-road vehicle, ensuring I had enough water, medicine, and spare medical equipment to respond to any emergency. Because out here, you had to be prepared for anything. Along the way, I often stopped to observe footprints on the ground, listened to calls of birds, and felt the pulse of the earth and sky. That's how I learned about the mysterious lives of the creatures that called this land home. On one such morning in the quiet of dawn, I suddenly noticed a small bloodstain on the dry grass. A sense of unease crept into my heart. Stopping my vehicle, I stepped out quietly, tiptoeing along the droplets of blood soaked into the weeds, wondering anxiously what animal had been injured and needed help. After walking a short distance, I saw the majestic form of a male lion lying motionless. Its golden fur was stained with dried blood and tangled in sharp barbed wire. My heart pounded at the heartbreaking sight. I carefully approached, holding my medical kit, trying to stay calm so as not to startle the lion. The wounded animal growled weakly, lifting its head with tired, lost eyes. Then, as if exhausted, it let its head fall again. The barbed wire had dug deep into its flesh, wrapping tightly around its shoulders and back, causing several bloody wounds. The injuries required skillful and patient intervention. Kneeling beside the lion, I took a deep breath, pulling a pair of pliers from my bag. Sweat trickled down my forehead as I began cutting away the sharp metal, speaking in a soothing voice to keep the lion calm. The tense moment stretched on, the sound of metal being clipped blending with the soft groans of the injured beast. Finally, the last strand of barbed wire fell away. Wasting no time, I quickly applied antiseptic and wrapped temporary bandages around the wounds to prevent infection. Despite its injuries, the lion, now free from the cruel grip of the wire, breathed heavily, its body trembling with fatigue. Yet in its eyes, there was something new, relief and gratitude. I murmured soft words, naming the lion Asani, meaning brave in the local language, to mark the extraordinary moment. I carefully stepped back, giving the lion space to see if it could stand on its own. Slowly, Asani lifted himself, staggering a few steps before turning his gaze to me, as if wanting to remember the face of the one who had saved him. Then, under the golden light of dawn, Asani disappeared into the tall grass, leaving behind the shredded barbed wire and traces of blood on the ground. That moment touched me deeply, reinforcing my commitment to protecting and coexisting with all life. And in that wilderness, weeks passed. Life returned to its usual rhythm, and I continued my patrols across the vast Serengeti. One afternoon, under a clear sky, I caught sight of a familiar figure in the distance. Watching me from across the golden grasslands was Asani. Though somewhat recovered, he kept his distance, observing my every move with a calm, unwavering gaze. There was no sign of threat, only quiet recognition. From that day forward, I was never truly alone on my patrols, because Asani was always near, silently watching over me. My colleagues in the park soon noticed a large lion following my vehicle along the dirt roads. At first, there was concern. Was the lion potential danger? But I reassured them. Asani was not a threat. He was a friend. Time proved my words true. The lion never attacked or showed aggression. Instead, he followed from a distance, a silent guardian of the ranger who had once saved his life. When I stopped my vehicle to examine animal tracks, Asani would pause as well, waiting patiently until I returned to the car before continuing to follow. The story of our bond spread through the park, attracting curious visitors eager to witness this extraordinary friendship between man and beast. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, I noticed Asani sitting atop a rocky hill, watching me. It was as if the lion was waiting to ensure I returned home safely. The sight was breathtaking. Two beings from different worlds, united by trust and respect. However, nature is unpredictable. During a harsh, dry season, a herd of distressed elephants rampaged through the western region of the park, destroying trees and infrastructure. The severe drought had left them desperate, their tempers short, their behavior aggressive. The park authorities ordered the immediate evacuation of tourists camping near the elephants, and I was among those tasked with ensuring everyone's safety. As I worked swiftly to guide the tourists away from danger, I found myself separated from my team, stranded on a low mound, with only reeds and broken tree stumps around me. I realized with dread that the enraged elephants were closing in. The ground trembled under their immense weight, their deafening calls drowning out all other sounds. With nowhere to run, fear gripped me. Just then, a thunderous roar echoed through the air, cutting through the chaos. I knew that roar, Asani, charging like an arrow. The majestic lion threw himself between me and the elephants, baring his fangs in defiance. The elephants, startled by his fierce presence, hesitated. Asani roared again, louder this time, a challenge to the towering beast before him. The largest elephant turned toward him, trumpeting in response. But Asani did not back down. He maneuvered with agility, dodging their powerful tusks. His every move was a calculated effort to divert their attention. This was his territory, and he was its king. Seizing the opportunity, I sprinted toward a higher vantage point, away from the elephant's path. I turned back just in time to see Asani still standing firm, his golden mane rippling in the evening light, unwavering despite the danger. The clash of roars filled the air, a symphony of the wild that echoed across the plains. Finally, as if realizing the fight was unnecessary, the elephants, exhausted and weary of the fearless lion, turned and retreated. The moment they were gone, Asani collapsed, panting heavily. I rushed to his side, placing a trembling hand on his mane, whispering words of gratitude. My heart swelled with respect for my companion, this incredible beast who had risked his life to protect me. Luckily, Asani had only suffered bruises and exhaustion. With great care, I lifted him into my vehicle and drove him to the park's veterinary station. News of the lion saving the ranger spread rapidly. The entire park marveled at the story, amazed by the depth of loyalty and courage displayed by the wild animal. Asani recovered over the following days. Though still weak, he always turned his head toward me whenever I approached, as if to reassure me that our bond remained unbroken. Our friendship became legendary, shared among visitors and conservationists alike. Tourists flocked to the park, eager to witness the extraordinary relationship between the ranger and the lion who had saved him. When Asani finally regained his strength, he returned to his territory, but he never truly left. On every patrol, I felt his presence, watching, protecting from the shadows. The memory of our shared struggles and triumphs became an inseparable part of me. At night, sitting around a campfire, the park staff often spoke of mine Asani's journey, a tale that seemed almost mythical. As dawn broke, I would set off once again, knowing that somewhere Asani was also watching over me. The scars on Asani's shoulders, remnants of the barbed wire that once trapped him, had now become symbols of resilience and gratitude, marks that bound our fates together. Across the shifting seasons, through rain and sun, we continued to meet, sharing quiet, profound moments. I would never forget the day I first touched the lion's mane, the moment fear gave way to trust. And though the wilderness remained unpredictable, I moved forward with a certainty that I was never truly alone. One evening, after another long day, I glanced at the horizon and saw Asani sitting atop his usual rock, watching me, as always, a silent guardian of the vast Serengeti. Our story, a testament to courage, kindness, and the unbreakable bond between man and nature, will be told for generations to come. This story, it's not just about me and Asani. It's about the wild spirit that we all carry within us, our connection to nature, the power of love and loyalty. I hope this story has touched your heart, made you think, and perhaps reminded you of your own defining moments. If you enjoyed this story, please share it and let me know your thoughts and comments. Remember, we all have a story to tell, and those stories have the power to make the world a better place.